If you really, really like fishing like I do, you're not gonna find a better atmosphere and a cooler vibe than you'll find at a tiny little place along the Texas Gulf Coast called Port Mansfield, Texas. Not a lot of bars and restaurants, nightlife and tourism, but if you like red fishing, speckled trout fishing and flounder fishing, you can't beat this place. Come on, I'm gonna show it to you in the next half hour because this is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
The bay system at Port Mansfield is hundreds of thousands of surface acres of expansive shallow flats full of redfish and speckled trout, and lots of guys going out doing a lot of wade fishing for those. But leave it to me to pick the most challenging thing in the entire bay system to target on this week's show. I'd like to go out and specifically target the flounder fishing here. It can be a real challenge, and not many of the charter captains will do that. But we found a guy who will target those flounder. His name is Steve Ellis, and he has lots of good spots where those flounder live. I'd like to have him fillet, put in the freezer, and take back. Sounds like a lot of good eating to me. We're gonna be joined in the Mako 21 LTS saltwater skiff with our Mercury 4-stroke 150 outboard, head up with Captain Steve Ellis. And while we're doing that, we're taking you around the region for your very latest fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters. Get the reports on your local area. So let's get the Mako launched in the bay right now. While we're doing that, we take you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are fairly optimistic about fishing over the weekend. Saturday's conditions are listed as good, with peak times starting a bit after midnight and again during the day at 1:11 p.m. The sun will rise at 6:32 and set at 8:35. And if you like dark evenings for your night fishing trips, this is the weekend. We just had a new moon on Wednesday, so there will be very little moonlight. Stay with us. We have all of your fishing updates from around the region on the way. Plus, I'll return with Wally Marshall to offer some advice for crappie anglers on this week's Ask the Pro. Back in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Lew's, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Hello.
Well, look at one chasing him. Yeah. Look at that. That's a good one with him. Here, hold it. Get him. He hit it. Yeah.
Golly, isn't that incredible? We
awesome,
got two
huh?
of them.
Spot cast. That's a nice fish right there.
We got doubles right here. That was weird.
No, that was good.
That was plenty weird. Steve hooked a fish and reeled it all the way up to the boat, and it had two with him. And all I did was took my line and flipped it out there. Look, now flip him around here. Hold him around here where we can see. There's two nice trout right there, both nice keepers. And but I flipped in there, and this fish was chasing that one around, trying to get Steve's lure out of his mouth. And all I did was flipped my little shrimp tail right in amongst them. And the better one,
got to give you credit. He had a wind knot in his line too. It was all messed
I
up.
had
It
a
was very
wind knot in
good.
my line. I was trying to pick it out. I've still got the wind knot down in my reel. Wow, what a deal. All right, well, there is action going on here. We got trout working anyway. As promised, we've made it out with Captain Steve Ellis today. He guides out of Getaway Adventures Lodge, which is a beautiful place in Port Mansfield. I'll tell you more about that just in a little bit. But Steve, let's talk a little bit about the day here. We've run up to the land cut, which is a really famous landmark.
This is the land cut, and it is a land cut. It moves between the Corpus Christi area, Baffin Bay, and Redfish Bay, Port Mansfield Bay here. This is a really good place to fish because it's the only place the fish can traffic from the northern bays into our southern bay systems. Very, very good place to ambush fish along here. It can be absolutely awesome in this thing at times.
You want the presence of bait. What I've already learned about this deal is you want to have little glass minnows and mud minnows and all kinds. You want to have activity on the surface. If there's activity up in that shallow water, most likely there are fish. We'll see what else happens. We're going to start off now and get you some fishing reports from your backyard.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox, Louisiana Outdoor Fishing Report. I tell you what, beautiful day today. Just called all of our guys down there at Hackberry, Louisiana. We have 4 boats out this morning, and every one of them doing good. 2 boats went after speckled trout. They were already got 30 in one boat, 25 in the other boat. Their goals is 45. I think they're going to get that because it's only 8:15. Tell you what, fishing is good all across the southwest Louisiana. Whether you want speckled trout, redfish, you want bass, tell you what, talked to some friends of mine up on Caddo Lake yesterday. They said, Phil, we're catching the fish good on Caddo Lake right now. He said, you just got to know where to go. They said early in the morning, they're fishing next to the grass beds in pretty shallow water, 3 to 5 foot of water. They're throwing a lizard with a little tiny weight in front of it, just working it next to that grass, and then bass are coming up and exploding it. They said buzz baits are doing good, walking the baits are good, walking the dog, something like a spook. But it said during the daytime when it heats up, they start pitching next to the cypress trees and they're picking up some pretty nice bass. They throw little creature baits when they're doing that. The other end of the state, we talked to some guys fishing in the Chaffalay Basin. They were doing good. They're throwing crank baits. That's what they usually throw there, or spinner bait. They're still catching lots of brim on the Chaffalay Basin. So right now, fish is good all across the state. I tell you what, you want to make a trip anywhere in the state, contact Cajun Phil. CajunPhil@hotmail.com. Email me, CajunPhil@hotmail.com. It's simple. We'll talk fishing. I'll tell you where to go, where not to go.
Got him?
Yeah, I got one. There he is, flounder.
Oh God,
Look at
net,
that.
net.
Good one?
Yeah, good one.
Calm down. You gonna get a netting for me?
Yeah, got him.
All right, here we go. That's what I wanted to eat and take home right there. How about that?
Oh, that's respectable too.
Give me a flounder. Hey, welcome back everybody. We're out of Port Mansfield up in the land cut, and we have caught one of what I wanted to catch today. There.
Target species.
Target species right there. That's a nice flounder on my little lead jig head. And I got wrapped up there. All right, we're with Captain Steve Ellison. Steve, talk about the flounder fishery here. What's it doing, and can you actually come out and target specifically these species, and how do you do it?
You have to fish where they live. They like channel banks, any edges, soft bottoms, drop-offs, pretty much a channel fish. They want some kind of structure along deep water with shallow water access.
So they're not going to be up on the flat so much. They're going to be on the drop, where it drops off.
On any kind of a transition, especially a slow transition.
Now also these shacks along here, the shacks that people can lease for the whole year, and they come out here and spend the night. You said they get around the piers of those docks?
They like the pilings, once again, structure.
And what time of the year is prime for them?
Generally in the summer is really good, and then they run out of the northern bay systems in the fall. They literally run out of the bay and do whatever they do out there, and then they come back in the summer months. So
okay,
there should be some more around.
Come catch you some of these right there. We got us a flounder right there. Let's get you some more fishing and lake reports. How about that?
Hey, the bass fishing has really gotten good all across Oklahoma over the past several days, both at lakes that have been stable for a while now, as well as those that continue to be drawn down. A daily summertime fishing technique is to fish the Geenaroo biffle bug on a Tommy Biffle hardhead. Who better to learn that technique from than Tommy Biffle himself?
What you want to do is get your boat out off the point in 5, 6, 10 foot of water and throw up on the point, throw up to where you think the old bush line is, the old bank line, and just let that bug work its way out, bumping and bumping, just bump it along the bottom. And as long as it's bumping and you're moving it pretty fast, you're not doing anything wrong. You know, another way to fish this thing is to work it like a jig. I have a lot of people say, well, I work it like I do a jig. And that's okay, that's not wrong. You catch a lot of fish like that, but you know, my favorite way is to make a long cast, let it get to the bottom, and then give it a pretty fast retrieve. It's a 7-3 gear ratio reel, and I'm reeling it pretty fast. So I'm reeling along here like this, And I think the faster you reel it, the better they like it.
And Tommy had one last tip for you. He said you can't catch them if you don't go.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good
Oh,
one.
that's a good flounder right there. Look at that. Let me get the net. Fight him in here, baby. Come on, Steve.
Coming at you, coming at you.
Come on,
He's a good one.
Steve. Got him. Yes. Ha ha. Look at that.
Oh, that's a go.
Look at that, Big Daddy. And boy, he ate your lure
That's a good thing.
all the way down
You
in his
handle it.
mouth. These are gorgeous flounder, good size flounder, perfect eating size fish. And you said
That's
this is
nice
a good
one.
flounder
Yeah,
for this
that's
day,
a good
right?
one.
Or for
That's
this,
good.
for this.
That's dinner for 4. You know?
Okay. Well, we're with Steve Ellis, and while we're undoing this flounder right here, this is going to take a minute. I want to mention something. I told you that we were fishing out of Getaway Adventures Lodge down at Port Mansfield. What a gorgeous place. Mike Sutton and his crew have done a tremendous job remodeling this lodge. They can do groups, got great places to lounge around inside and eat. They can accommodate up to 26 people in a group or as few as just a couple. Give them a call, catch you some nice flounder like this and some speckled trout and some redfish, and maybe get lucky and catch a snook. Hey, we're gonna be right back to Port Mansfield to the land cut right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. By Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Yep.
You got him?
Yeah, I'm sure that's another flounder. It's got to be a good one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at this, look at this. They don't fight until they get in the net.
No.
And then look at that.
Hey, look, just
Look
because you
at
got
that.
him in the boat doesn't mean you're going to keep him either.
Man,
Oh, that's a nice
look
one,
at
too.
look at this fish.
Let me get in there after. Okay.
There we go. Now we got him. All right, there's a nice flounder for you right there. Way to go, Steve.
Thank you. That's awesome.
We got some beautiful flounder working in here. We're fishing just an edge, a drop edge out here, as we mentioned. And these flounder really seem to be here. We've stuck 3 or 4 nice ones in a row right here. And so, Steve, when you come out here and fish like this, you're actually fishing this edge, but you could catch anything right here, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What all are you eligible to catch when you throw on this little channel edge we're fishing right here?
You can catch trout and redfish on the drop-off side and flounder right at the edge of the grass line and the sand lines. Works out really good like that. Many times you'll see redfish like coming off of this flat looking for this ditch to go into, you know, and you can spot cast them coming off the flats. It can happen very regularly.
Wow. And we've got our Mako boat out here. We've got power poles on the back of it and got the Motor Guide XI5 Wi-Fi trolling motor on the front. So we have got full control of the boat. We can stop ourselves. If we catch a couple in an area, you want to stop, fish that area thoroughly because there's obviously something going on there. We've caught 3 or 4 nice flounder in this one spot within about 20, 30 yards right here. So we're going to pull back up there, probably put the anchor feature on the Wi-Fi trolling motor and just hold ourselves in one spot. All right, it's time for more fishing reports from you. Let's find out what's happening right there in your backyard.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is again brought to you by the Lakes of Wood County, featuring 87 fishable named lakes, including world famous Lake Fork, and with fun activities and events for the entire family year round. Now this week we're here at Lake Limestone in Central Texas. Limestone's fishing cover is primarily boat docks, offshore deep water structure, and of course, like many lakes in Texas right now, flooded vegetation along the shoreline. So bass fishermen, start your morning with your topwaters, spinnerbaits, and Senkos along this flooded grass. Fish all that you can find until that bite dies out. Then move to the boat docks with your flipping and pitching lures like your jigs and Texas rig creatures. Finally, you'll want to move to offshore structure near what standing timber there is with your Carolina rigs and your drop shot rigs. You can also fish the Henderson Crossing Bridge along the rocks with those same topwater, spinnerbait, Senko, jig and pig patterns in your Texas rigs. And finally, cat fishermen, you'll definitely want to fish the Henderson Crossing rocks with your cut baits and prepared baits. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by the Lakes of Wood County. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island. the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus, the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, Upper Coast anglers continue to deal with freshwater in the upper portions of the bays. However, good action on Sabine and Galveston bays continue on the south end, where fish are stacked up over mid-bay reefs, shell, and shorelines. On Sabine and West Galveston bays, some bird activity is also occurring. West Matagorda's grass beds continue to be a hot spot for trout and redfish on both live and artificial baits. A good topwater bite continues early in the day. Now the surf either side of Pass Cavallo southward to the National Seashore continues to hold solid trout when conditions allow. The short rigs and surf out of Sabine has been another good option. Around Rockport, Aransas Pass, and Port Aransas, good catches of redfish have come from shorelines, spoil islands, and back lakes. Trout have worked shallow, grassy shorelines early before retreating to water 5 feet deep as the day warms. Now the upper Laguna Madre, redfish is heating up with scattered pods of reds working. Grass beds are holding trout, while Baffin Bay's rocks are also giving up some good fish on live croaker as well as an early topwater bite. Anglers wading and drifting flats and grass beds near the Intracoastal Waterway out of Port Mansfield all the way to Port Isabel have been rewarded. Longbar is giving up good trout and redfish on live shrimp under a popping cork. Mexikita Flats and South Bay continue to give up trout, reds, and flounder on most bays. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 high tides and just 1 low. This Sunday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for the Ask the Pro question, your chance for advice from professional anglers. This week, Colby wants to know, how deep should I place my light when night fishing for crappie? For the answer, we checked with professional crappie angler Wally Marshall.
It really doesn't matter how deep your light's down in the water when you're doing night fishing, because all you're trying to do is draw the bait fish to you. The crappies will not get directly in the light. I'm doing a night show this year, so I'll tell you what, throw out your blighted bobber out in the dark area and reel it right up to the edge or the aura of the light. The crappies stay in the dark, the bait fish are darting through the light, and they're back in the dark section off of that light waiting to strike. It doesn't matter how deep your light is in the water.
Thank you, Wally. If you have a question to ask one of the pros, go to our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's find out which big fish photo wins someone a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Well, as you can see now, we've made it back to the fantastic Getaway Adventures Lodge, situated right on the harbor in Port Mansfield, Texas. As you can see, this is a wonderful place, and I'll give you the information on how you can come here in just a moment. But first, it's my pleasure right now, as it is each week, to give away a free pair of Costa sunglasses to this week's winner of the Costa Catch of the Week contest. He is Rob Patterson of Carrollton, Texas, showing an 11.75 pound hybrid striped bass he caught at Cedar Creek Lake in Texas. And as an added bonus, here's a photo of Doug and Kathy Harrison, also at Cedar Creek with 5 and 7 pound hybrids, and Amy Tovar, also at Cedar Creek with a 32 pound blue catfish. These were not the winners, but they're great fish nonetheless. You can have a chance to be our next winner by going to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, and on the right side of the front page, clicking on the Costa Catch of the Week box, following the instructions you'll find there. You could win a free pair of Costa sunglasses like our winners did this week. And you can see all of the great Costa products by going back to the front page of our website and clicking on the Costa logo. There you can see all of the frame and lens styles, like the frame style that I was wearing on this week's episode called Caballito. On the Academy Right Stuff feature, I want to talk about the gear that you'll need, particularly the baits to catch fish here at Port Mansfield. You'll see lots of people using live croaker and mullet and shrimp here. You do not have to use live bait to catch fish here at Port Mansfield. We caught tons of fish today on artificials, many that we didn't have time to show you on camera. You can use topwater baits, hard-bodied swim baits, plastic shrimp imitations or swim baits on a lead jig head. They'll all catch fish here. You don't need to use live bait. And the vast majority of the people wade fish here. They pull up on these shallow bars and shallow flats, stake their boat down, get out and do lots of wade fishing. You can do that if you'd like. Al Sharpton is a longtime civil rights activist and White House advisor. He's got some very polarizing opinions. And while I disagree with a lot of what Al has to say, one thing that he said I do agree with is this: the only thing that will matter 2 minutes after you die is what you did for others. You know, we live in a very selfish culture. It's all about me and my needs and what everybody else can do for me. But the truth of the matter is, after you're gone, the things that will remain are the time you give, the energy you spend, the money you donate, and anything you do for someone else. Those things will outlive you by 10, 50, even 100 years. Think about that. Hey, I hope you enjoyed our great trip here to Port Mansfield, Texas. I can promise you I'll be back, and I'll be back to this place behind me. Getaway Adventures Lodge is everything you could possibly want in a fantastic lodge. They've got great room accommodations, a fantastic lodge with a great place to relax, read a book, watch television, great food, pool, beautiful landscaping, dock facility, fishing guides that'll take you right out of the docks here. Literally, it's all inclusive, everything you could possibly want, and you're looking at the telephone number and the web address if you'd like to learn more about your own stay at Getaway Adventures Lodge. And Steve Ellis was our guide on this trip, and if you'd like to book Steve, you can either do that through the lodge or we'll throw his telephone number directly up on the screen as well. Hey, don't forget, we'll be back on next Thursday in our normal time slot of 10:30 p.m. with the repeat airing Saturday morning at 7:30. And you can always watch the latest episode of our show right on the front page of our website, foxsportsoutdoors.com. You can catch up on all of our past episodes by clicking on past episodes and more video here. You can also see lots of how-to and product videos there as well. And don't forget to follow us on our Twitter feed. We're always giving away free fishing gear there, and you'll see lots of photos, video, and fishing news you'll never see here on the television show. And like us on our Facebook page as well. From gorgeous Port Mansfield, Texas, in the Getaway Adventures Lodge, we'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes saying be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.